minute, fellas. Look here. Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Draw Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. And in this episode, literally almost everybody dies. Welcome to the show, folks. This week, we have every member of the who's who of the EBD universe that we love. C-Lab is on his deathbed.
Yep.
And we have an over egregious use of the word gentleman. That's right. We watched the 1990s classic, The Rock.
The Rock.
Starring Sean Connery, Nick Cage, and literally everybody.
Starring
Let's
James Bond.
Get to it. High level.
High level.
If there's such a thing as high level for a movie like this, high level.
Let's
Chad.
high level it. I'll high level first just in case I die halfway through. At least you'll capture some of it. I had a really good time watching this. It's the cheese dickiest thing since we watched Face Off.
Holy shit.
And yeah, I think watching it, I was just like, holy shit, this is hilarious. And then it brought back memories and, you know, all that kind of shit. And it's very, you know, Nick Cage is Nick Caging.
Mm-hmm.
And then I might have gone a little bit too far into the conspiracy theory that this is actually a James Bond movie. I think I'm on that motorcycle.
Oh, I'm a cat. I'm a sexy, sexy cat.
So, totally.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, they don't make them like they used to. It's a very quintessential 90s ridiculous romp. And I had a good time.
Good God. Bro, they never made them like this movie, man. Benny, what do you got, buddy?
Well, first off, just touching on what you said there, Chad, I don't think this was quite as silly as Face Off.
That's fair.
Although, you know, I mean, it's a couple notches down on the dial, but
Good God, bro.
still, it's a couple notches down.
Yeah.
I'm going to sum this up by saying I was disappointed that this wasn't the Presidio because I thought Sean Connery beat up a guy with his thumb in this. And I totally had my wires crossed. And I was like, when is he going to beat the guy up with his thumb? And it never happened. And but I'm just dumb.
And what was that movie?
I believe it was the Presidio.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I'm going to eject and watch that. Hang on.
All right, nice, dude. We'll see you next week.
I will 11sies very briefly and say how much I loved the cut the chit chat a-hole line. It really cracked me up and reminded me of Pedro Pascal.
Hey, a-hole, cut the chit chat and let Benny finish his high
Cut
level.
the chit chat a-hole.
No, that was really it.
All right, so I have never seen this movie.
What?
I don't know
Fuck
why.
off.
I never saw this movie when it came out. I never saw it.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know why. This is just one of those ones that just sort of passed under and over the radar.
Oh,
This was a first watch for me,
and you hated it.
Well, I didn't hate it. I was trying to remember that like every movie around this era, like this was the era of movies like this, right?
Yep.
And I loved other movies like this, you know, when they came out, you know, like Face Off and, you know, whatever the other
Con Air.
crazy 90s movies were. Yeah, but I mean, my God, dude, this is just like one of the dumbest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. And I absolutely loved it, man, because it was just so stupid.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Over the top, like the crashes, the explosions, like everything in it. The dialogue was just wretched tripe, man. Oh my God. I was like, I kept thinking, I watched it again last night and today, and I was, you know, because last week we didn't do the show, and I had watched the movie, but I didn't get a chance to take notes. Like I got halfway through the movie last week, and I was like, shit, this is a movie I got to take notes on. So I vowed to take notes on this week's watch, and I was dreading watching it again because I was really kind of struggling through it a little bit the first time. I was like, oh my God, this is just so bad. It's just not keeping my attention. so I flipped it on and like I immediately got sucked into it, dude.
Nice.
I was just like, I was glued to it. So, you know, it was fun to watch it despite all of that 90s sort of wretchedness and over the top nonsense. I enjoyed it for what it was. You know what I mean? I'm still going to just completely eviscerate it because
Do it.
You got to, man. You can't not. It's just so ridiculous, man.
It is evisceratable for sure.
It is.
But
thank you.
I got to give it some juice here. It's got tons of EBD DNA.
Yes.
You got Connery, you got Cage, you got Ed Harris, you got William Forsythe, fucking Richie Madonna himself.
Richie Madonna over here.
Fucking
Madonna.
Michael Biehn, David Morse, like McGinley. Do you got
John
like all
McGinn,
these fucking
John C. McGinley,
yeah,
Ed
all
Harris,
these-
John Spencer,
Grand Admiral Todd.
Yes,
Grand Admiral Todd is in
Admiral
it,
Todd.
totally, man. You got Vanessa Marcil, you got freaking Tony Todd, Bokeem Woodbine. I mean, like everybody's in this movie. Danny Nucci, Claire Forlani. It's like the whole entire cast list. Like I went down it in IMDb. I was like, these are all like great actors. There's even like 10 to 15 uncredited actors, like great actors like Stuart Wilson, Philip Baker Hall, who played Mr. Bookman on Seinfeld, Raymond Cruz, shit pushed in
You got him
himself is in
fired
this.
up, Betty.
Yeah.
That's right.
Uncredited, dude. These are all uncredited roles, man. Grand Admiral Todd is uncredited, you know? Like it's just a crazy, like Benny said, DNA, baby. It is
Yeah.
EBD
I mean,
rich.
it's dudes that have like purveyed movies we've covered before, and
100%.
are just huge players in the EBD-averse. So
No
In
doubt.
the EBD-averse. I love it, dude. Nice. Yes, absolutely, Ben. Well said. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there
no, you didn't. Not
with
at all.
my ridiculous rant. Yeah, I think, like that was one of the things I loved about it, it was just like all the people in it. It was just like, for me, it was kind of like, seeing all the old buddies, man, because like this is when all these actors were in their heyday.
Everyone in their
in
prime, yeah.
Well, a lot of them, we had a lot of actors that were in their prime, and then we also had a lot of actors in this that went on to do greater things, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
be in all these different things, so that was really cool to see. I started saying this in my high level, but like the one thing through both watches, I kept saying in my head was, how the fuck did they get Sean Connery to do this piece of shit?
Right.
And I cannot believe he did this movie, man.
Oh, come on, man. It's fucking Michael Bay. Come on.
I guess so, man. And like, Benny, when they were in the middle of that ridiculous car chase, with the Humvees,
Oh, dude.
there's this like one shot of him just like, driving the Humvee, and the only thing I could think of was, I wish he had said, sometimes we need a physical. I can't even do it, dude. Do it.
Sometimes a woman needs a physical connection.
I thought it was sometimes we need a physical correction. And I was like, if he said that right here, that would be perfect.
Well, yeah, that would be better than a woman needs a physical correction. For sure.
100%. So, yeah, I cannot believe they got him to do this movie.
I just picture Connery just being like, what the hell is this film about?
Exactly, man. I
The
was thinking
entire
about the
time,
same
right?
thing. Wow.
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
I guess as long as the check clears, I'll play the role.
Pretty much.
Right?
Zardoz commands it.
I love me some San Francisco, too.
Oh, yeah. Great backdrop. We talked about that in the 48 Hours episode.
Yeah. And the
I feel
fact
like,
that they use
San
Alcatraz.
Fran is near akin to Valverde
Yeah,
as a
Oh, yeah.
location
no doubt.
covered in this podcast.
No doubt.
Yeah, I have such a soft spot for San Francisco. And then, like, Alcatraz in particular, like, it's the stupidest plot ever, A general who's upset about his soldiers dying is going to kill a bunch of civilians. Like, what? But the fact that it takes place on Alcatraz
In the
and
most
they, have the rockets
Awful
It's
way possible.
Yeah. Like,
Gruesome.
fucking the dude from Raiders of the Lost Ark's face melting style chemical weapons.
Right. Totally.
It's funny.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, he was really just, he was threatening them to try to get the money as compensation, sort of.
He was bluffing.
Yeah, he was bluffing. But, still to steal the VX gas is like, and then, whatever. Just the VX gas itself, dude, is this like McMuffin that's like ultimate freaking McMuffin of death, dude. It's just so ridiculous, man. And the green goo and the little freaking balls. It's just like it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, this episode could be like 8 hours long if we just like talk about everything that's so stupid, because it's like frame by frame stupidity, man. I mean, it's just rich with lore and stupid lore, dude.
So what you're saying is that it wasn't an elegant string of pearls configuration?
No, it was not, dude.
I love that, dude. Nick Cage makes this movie.
I sincerely hope they don't make missiles like that.
Right?
Yeah, I know, right? How do you guys want to do this one, man?
Oh, I don't know, man.
This is like...
Can we talk about the Bond stuff a little bit?
Just keep stabbing.
Yeah, that's it. Until it dies.
Just keep stabbing?
Yeah.
Let's just keep stabbing, because I think we should move along, because I feel bad that Chad feels like shit.
I'm all right.
Like 103 temperature.
I think what you said about the first watch, where you were like, whatever, or whatever, like, even if you were kind of like tepid with it, I feel like you have to be in the right headspace for it. And
yes,
I watched the whole thing and enjoyed it and was just like, wow, that was a doozy. But the more I thought about it and digested it, the more excited I got about it, especially when you kind of factor in the Bond stuff. And like, I could totally see a first watch just going terribly wrong. And I'm glad you got a second go around where you got into it, because it's just such a ridiculous film that it deserves, it deserves your attention, and it can be hard to gain your attention just because of how ridiculous it actually is. So I'm glad to hear you got there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think the other thing too is that like I'm a huge fan of when we do a movie from the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, and it was like a staple, meal for two of us, and then one of us had never seen the movie. So we get like a fresh modern take from one of us on the film. And, while the other two are kind of gushing over, you know what I mean? Like, like that was the case with Red Dawn and like a bunch of movies that we did, you know what I mean? So
let's just set the record straight. I've maybe seen this movie twice before.
Oh, really?
So
right. But you've seen it, you saw it way back when, I'm sure, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So like,
because this was a Hey Beastmasters. I've watched this dozens of times, but it's been a long time.
Right. But I think we've established on the show that like, when you watch them, even if you only watch it like 3 times, right? But you watched it like around the time that it came out, it kind of imprints in a different way, because
definitely,
like movies like this, just they didn't really exist back then. And then like Michael Bay comes along and John Woo with like Face Off in this movie, and it's just like crazy town, dude. I mean, fucking crazy town.
Yeah, but you could end up hating it, and I'm glad you didn't. Like, if you had left it at one watch, you might have been like, yeah, lukewarm, don't care. But the fact that you got to a reasonable place is good.
Well, I didn't even get all the way through it the second time. I got to, because I was kind of more engaged in the second half of the movie when I watched it the first time. So I got to like just past the shower scene, when they're kind of trying to rat him out of the tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I got to fucking stop watching this so I can go to the show. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been content sitting there continuing to watch the last vomit-inducing hour of this movie, dude,
No doubt.
Right?
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is.
It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah,
There's
so ridiculous.
No question about that. But I did enjoy this watching. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it for a second watch, but just going through it on this one particular run was it was quite entertaining.
Yeah, sure.
Was it good? I don't know, but I had fun watching it for sure.
Right? It was entertaining for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's the sort of the best way to characterize it, man. It was entertaining as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was like in the 90s when I was in my 20s, I'd have been like, but now I'm just like, God damn, bro. Whose idea was this? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Like, how much money was spent on this? How much did all these actors get paid, dude? There's a lot of marquee actors in this movie, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's the price of admission is worth the cast alone. Like,
oh shit, totally.
But it kind of says something about how we expect more than just like, oh, that was entertaining out of an action movie these days.
Yeah.
Like we want some emotional connection or something.
Yeah.
There's no emotion whatsoever in this movie.
No, it's just like I was never worried about Nick Cage's baby mama. Like
no,
once. I was like, no, it'll be fine.
Well, that's the thing about these Michael Bay movies, dude, is that like he's always trying to inject all this emotionality in it, and it's just like he doesn't know how to do it.
Doesn't work. Yeah,
it never works ever. Like Transformers, like all those movies, man, just terrible. Like I could have cared less about his baby mama. I was just like, yeah, whatever, dude. I don't even give a shit.
Yeah, swing and a miss.
He's like, my fiance's in San Francisco and she's pregnant and I gotta do something. And I was just like, yeah, dude, nobody cares, man. You don't even sound like you care, bro. Bro.
But neither did Williams Forsythe. Like, the dude's bitching about his pregnant. The guy's just like, focus, dude. No one cares.
I know. And Forsythe was like, it seemed to me like he's not like I love William Forsythe and I think he's a great actor, but you could tell like he seemed like he was doing his damnedest and using every ounce of energy and focus he had to look serious and pissed throughout this ridiculous circus of events, man. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Right? So I why don't we do this? We can keep What is so funny, man?
I'm just loving your
take
on this.
Nice. All right, good, dude. That's great because you're gonna love it the whole time.
It's tickling my funny bone, and I enjoy it.
Good.
Thank you.
I love to get Benny on a good roll, man. For sure.
I wasn't sure how I was feeling about this, but the minute you started in, I was like, yes, that.
This is how we need to approach this. So let's keep stabbing.
I was like John Edwards. I was like, I'm coming to you.
In addition to the stabbing, I took 2 pages of notes so we can kind of.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, goof off of that, dude.
Do it.
You know what I noticed at the beginning of this movie? Like the beginning of this movie. Holy shit, dude! Talk about trying to be dramatic and just injecting it with steroids and crack, and then like here's the end result is like the putting on the uniform and like the dead wife and like the fucking walking in the rain and going to Arlington and all this kind of thing, right? And like. And then, of course, and so a lot of these notes are very like typical gripey Kev, including this very first one. So we get to the grave in the rain, dude, and it says Barbara Hummel, 1945 to 1994 or whatever. And I was like, dude, she was like 39, and she died like a year ago. And Ed Harris looks like he's 55 in this movie, dude. So I was like, how old was his wife, man? Like I had a major problem with that. I got stuck on that.
I can see you like pausing it, breaking out a piece of paper, doing the math on it, and be like, "This is preposterous."
Right? Like holding my head in my hand,
breaking out like a 55-year-old Ed Harris can't have a 39-year-old dead wife. I mean, come on.
I don't know, dude. 15 years, I don't know. It was just like it didn't seem like that to me, Ben, as much as it seemed like well, Ed Harris is like 55, but you're good, dude. You could play like
because of recent news. I just realized that fucking Harrison Ford is married to Callista Flockhart.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's totally possible.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, whatever. I dated somebody 18 years younger than me, but
But it's different.
Shit. It is different. I'm not a celebrity, and I'm not in my life is not in a movie. So people weren't like, "Oh wow,"
Yeah, you could make it a little more believable.
I mean, people were like that, of course, but
I love it. That's the grapiest of Kev grapes ever.
yeah, it was. And I mean, there's just so much like the dialogue in this. Let's just talk about the dialogue in this movie for a second, because I always talk about that, and lately especially, I've been like hyper focused on dialogue in movies, and this has got to be like it was amazing for me. I found out in an early nugget that Quentin Tarantino did some rewrites on this movie along with Aaron Sorkin, and I don't know who else contributed in writing this movie. I know that again, another nugget. A lot of Nick Cage's lines were ad-libbed, which I could not believe.
I mean, it's pretty believable.
I mean, I guess it is pretty
How in the name of Zeus's butthole did you get out of your cell?
God, that was so bad, dude.
Love it.
It was just the dialogue in this movie was just absolutely terrible
so
from
bad.
beginning to end. Every single scene, it was just absolutely awful, man. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's so terrible.
It just fits perfectly, though.
It does. It fits perfectly with a crappy movie of this era and this like over the top kind of film,
Look,
It's just, yeah.
I want to propose
Oh boy.
an idea here where, like, yes, I went down the James Bond rabbit hole, but I think my appreciation for this has only grown a bit because I think Sean Connery and Nick Cage as James Bond and kind of Padawan is very similar to Indiana Jones and Mutt. And so I feel like this is like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull done well, because it's very much in keeping with all of the Bond stupid, crazy shit. Like crazy, stupid plan that doesn't go well, and then Bond single-handedly kind of fucking saves the day with this quippy, shitty dialogue. And like through that lens, like it actually... It's just as good as the Bond movies, and I say that because I C-labbed out and watched all of Sean Connery's Bond movies this week, and it's like it's the same level of quality. So, yeah.
Huh. Well, wow, that is a really interesting theory there, Chad Lab.
I think the thing is you expect a certain amount of camp from from Bond movie, you know?
Definitely.
Whereas I think this is sold as something a little more serious,
definitely,
a little less tongue in cheek, and it, that's where it sort of misses the mark. Like if it was meant to be something just like a romping, woohoo thing, it would have been different. But they set the stakes a little too high or something. I don't know.
Sure, I buy that. Like I totally buy that. Except looking back on Nicolas Cage's career, taking almost anything he does seriously is a mistake. Like obviously he's got things like Leaving Las Vegas and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I love him. But like he is the silliest part of this fucking movie. He's just so fucking silly.
Yes.
Again, I'm right with you. Like, and this is not like, I mean, this isn't Castor Troy, like
No.
it's a little more subdued, but just a little more subdued.
Yeah, I mean,
like just a bit. Like it was like it was an era for Cage where he was just like, that's what I was doing, like the, stuff like he's just like.
Yes,
it's pretty funny, dude. I mean,
let me.
There's just something ridiculous about him in this.
Yeah,
I agree. I want to add
out
something.
in my apartment with my guitar
naked.
Playing. After I just went through this horrible thing, why would anybody ever want to bring a baby into this world? Oh, you're pregnant. Oh.
So funny. Dude.
Exactly. To my point. And let me add to what you said, Ben. Like, not only do you expect that level of camp, Chad, in, those old Bond movies, is that we're getting that same level of kind of camp, but now it's 1997 or whenever this movie came out, 1995.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just, it mutates it into something completely different, dude.
And Crystal Skull tried to do that and failed,
Yeah, and I as a sidebar, dude, I have never watched Crystal Skull. I never will watch Crystal Skull. I vowed anyway not to watch it, and I'm a little disappointed that you have watched it because it's just so like,
fair enough.
Whoa.
It's so not original trilogy,
fair
bro.
Enough.
Thank you.
I had hopes. They were dashed.
Well, let's just say that I watched it before everybody decided it was trash, and
Okay.
Maybe you should decide for yourself.
All right.
It's not good though.
No, I mean,
but still,
I don't know. Harrison Ford is very old now, and I love him.
So as cool as the Flockhart.
So it is cool as the Flockhart.
Well, fair enough, dude. But he's the one making the Indiana Jones movies, not her.
So does Ally McBeal.
Oh my god! I'm gonna take a restroom break.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna have a nap.
I think what I was gonna say is, Bond movies have moments where like there's a character named Pussy Galore, and you're like, oh, I know what I'm watching right now, and there's not that here. Like, there's no like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's all like high stakes, like ooh.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. That's fair. Like the Pussy Galore stuff is just,
there's not a bad guy with metal teeth named Jaws, or
Odd Job with his hat. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's all these sort of like goofy things in the Bond movies that sort of like cue you into the seriousness level, whereas this is like you're supposed to really believe in the stakes,
the hype. Yeah, that's totally fair. And I mean, you can make an argument like Kev did about the genre mutates over the decades, but I definitely think it is the weak place of that argument. The weak point is that it's not super self-aware. Like Nick Cage's shenanigans are the most self-aware part, and that's just because it's Nick Cage, I think. But even that is not quite to the level of Jaws or Pussy Galore.
Yeah, and again, like I'm kind of on the motorcycle with Kev, but it's not like I didn't enjoy this movie. It was very entertaining. It's just, but also kind of over the top ridiculous.
Fucking A. It was very over the top ridiculous.
What the hell are we doing in this movie?
Fucking crawling around in the sewer like Ninja Turtles.
Where's my scotch?
The pure quantity of gigantic gasoline explosions was amazing.
Oh my god.
I had completely forgotten about like the underground fucking rail car Indiana Jones-esque kind of shoot 'em up scene. Like that was, I love how there's like an entire fucking, Lord of the Rings fucking dwarf city under Alcatraz.
Right.
Yeah,
there's like
was a little
fucking D&D
ridiculous.
Undercroft.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting the fucking fat dragon to like come out at some point, but
there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Sadly disappointed.
Because that would have been more believable than everything else that happened in this movie.
Pretty much.
About as, yeah,
Right.
more or less.
What other notes you got, Kev?
Just like a lot of lines too, like every cliche, tropey line you could possibly imagine was in this movie, and the tropes themselves, like Mason is this guy that we locked away because he's got all these secrets. He's a man that doesn't exist, like all of that bullshit. Like this man has no identity,
Doesn't exist.
And then like, when all the generals are, this man doesn't exist. We can't find any files on him because he doesn't exist, It's like, ugh, God, give me a break, dude. And then like when all the generals and shit are like, having their little powwow in the president's war room, dude, and they start talking about the VX gas and that one, like Air Force admiral or whatever. He's just like, 1 teaspoon of this could take out 8 blocks. Got it?
Yeah. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. By your 9th birthday, I was running Black Ops into China. It's just like, oh my
God. Nick Cage, when he's like in the interrogation room, like they're like, oh, send Goodspeed in, Like I love how Nick Cage can't decide if he's like mortally afraid of everything or if he's just like blindly running into every horribly dangerous situation. He kind of goes back and forth between the two. That's what I noticed on the second watch. Did anybody else pick that up?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Like right before, like when they're like, okay, when John Spencer's like, this morning you wanted a gun. Now you're going to get a gun and a wetsuit.
And he's like, oh, you're sending me in there with Sean Connery? You know? And he's like, oh my God. And then he runs into the bathroom and he starts throwing up. But earlier, the guy takes the fucking Humvee and he jumps right in the Ferrari and starts screaming across San Francisco, driving the car through store windows, just,
No doubt.
you know, acting like a complete psycho. Crashes the Ferrari, jumps off. That guy on the bike's like, dude, you just wrecked your Ferrari, man. He's like, it wasn't mine.
Pushes him off.
And neither is this. Punches the kid, takes his motorcycle. You know what I mean? No. Yeah. So he's acting like that. And then it's like, they tell him they're going to go into Alcatraz with the SEALs. And he's like, oh, God. Oh. And he goes and pukes in the sink. And then William Forsythe comes in and he's like, are you okay, kid?
Wipe that spittle off your chin. You'll be fine.
Everything's going to be okay. We're going to get your girlfriend in here. It's going to be fine.
Have a nibble on this sopressata.
Yeah, and here's a power bar because you're going to need that. You know what I mean? It was just great.
Here's an arm of dried salami for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's after he saves the day in the beginning with that
Start gnawing on
baby
it.
that shoots gas out everywhere, melts the guy's fucking suit.
Oh my God, dude. And how that whole thing was so stupid, man. Like Grand Admiral Todd was just like, you know, screaming at him through the thing, dude. And they're just in there acting like idiots, dude. You know, they're like, oh, we've got a real VX gas. We got a potential VX gas situation here. And they send in, I can't remember that actor's name. He's forever will be Dick from High Fidelity to me.
Yep. Nerdiest dude ever. Yep.
Right. So Dick from High Fidelity and Nick Cage go into the tube thing. And they're just acting like idiots, dude. He picks up the baby and he's like, wee, mommy. And then yeah, right. And then it starts spewing all this vapor everywhere, dude, you know? And it's so stupid, dude.
So good.
And they're like, oh my God, you got to get us out of here. They're like, well, you got no recourse. You got to stab yourself through the heart with this big ass needle. They're like, I'm not doing that. Give me some goddamn sprinklers.
That was the stupidest shit ever.
Meanwhile, Grand Admiral Todd outside, like over and over, like, oh, we're going to die. We're going to die. Ah, we're fucked. Ah, we're going to die. Ah, we're fucked.
And then the sarin gas or whatever it is starts melting Dick's suit. He's like, oh my God, my suit's melting. Do something. It's just like, holy shit, dude. This is not happening. So again, to my point, like you've got, and Stanley Goodspeed is the dumbest name ever. I don't know who thought of that.
So good.
You got, it's so
Especially
great.
when said by a Scottish man.
Oh yeah, totally. So
You know where the name Goodspeed comes from.
Godspeed, Godspell.
Godspell. If you ever seen Godspell, it's a wonderful musical.
So Nick Cage is, you know,
It's about Jesus.
So Nick Cage is in the tube, you know, disarming the mail bomb. You know what I mean? But then, you know, then he's whinging about his pregnant baby mama, and then he's back to, you know, the most ridiculous car chase I've ever seen, man, in a movie. Like that car chase was just unreal. And then he's like puking at the thought of having to go in with the Navy SEALs. So, you know, I don't know. That was just something that struck me in this viewing.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's jumping a Ferrari through the hills of San Francisco like it's
Right.
nothing one moment. And, you know, and then like literally like rocking up on Connery with a gun, like, like, and then
Yeah.
2 minutes later, he's like, oh, I gotta go in with him. Oh no.
Your safety, Jean.
Yeah.
Your safety zone. What the hell is this movie about? What kind of a film are you trying to make here?
What about, can we just talk about the car chase for a second?
Can we just talk about the car chase we just talked about for a second? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't really talk about the car chase. I touched on the car chase.
Okay.
But like, I just
Dig
just
deeper on the car
expound
chase,
that.
man.
Well, I just wanted to expound on it briefly for a second.
Do it.
Like, it was, as I said, that was one of the most ridiculous car chases I've ever seen in a movie.
It's pretty good.
Michael Bay style, you know, like it had all the hallmarks of like some kind of 90s over the top car chase. It was
Yeah.
like
Pre-digi, too. There wasn't a lot of digital stuff going on, which was nice.
No. I do appreciate that it was all analog, but it was like, the Humvee driving down the road, and it's like you see the Escort, right? The Ford Escort, and you see the meter maid little, ticket cart right next to it. And he hits the meter maid mobile.
Oh, I love that.
Which runs into the Escort, and the explosion is like fucking Hiroshima, dude.
Mushroom cloud.
So fucking great. I just love shit like that. And then like there's this one shot of like Forsyth in the car. He's like, he's crashing through anything, trying to slow us down. Like, we get the water truck, dude. We get the trolley. I mean, we get the wheelchair racers. I mean, like everything you could possibly think of, man, got in the way of that car chase. And it was glorious, man. Holy shit.
Can we pause for a minute on the trolley guy?
Please.
Who's like, his meaning of life is how much he loves his trolley. He's got the vest with all the fucking flare on it and shit.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Guy.
He had like 80 pieces of flare on that vest, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, he was
star.
so in love with that trolley, man. It was ridiculous.
That's so good.
Yeah.
He's all polite and tour guidey, and then he gets like his shit pushed in, and he's just like, motherfucker, I'm just my fucking trolley, motherfucker. He's so, oh God, it was funny.
That son of a bitch, I'm going to chase you down. I'm going to find you.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah, so great. And like the trolley itself, so like.
He was like Egg Chen a little bit.
He was a little bit.
Like Egg
and
Chen.
he was like Egg Chen mixed
Egg
with
Chen.
the asthmatic lady from iRobot.
Wait, which lady from my
Don't you apologize.
Dude.
You a asshole.
You an asshole.
I could see Egg Chen leaving Chinatown in San Francisco and like going to a diner to meet the trolley guy for breakfast.
That's what I'm saying.
Someday. You know what I mean? Like they hang out.
Yeah, Egg Chen went sightseeing one day, went on the trolley, became friends with Clarence or whatever his name was, and now they're buddies.
Clarence.
He looked
There
like a
you
Clarence.
go.
Come on.
Yeah, you look like a Clarence.
With his flair.
Totally, dude. His 80 pieces of flair.
He was great.
He was, and I loved how, like, I know there was one part I couldn't exactly see what the impetus for this was, but it was like, the Humvee's going down the road. They've already destroyed 10 city blocks, right? And like something, maybe it was a telephone pole or something falls in the road, and like one of the cop cars, man, just hits that pole and just fucking launches into the air, man. Does a full on flip, all in slow motion, man. It was just glorious, dude. And again, all analog, as you so pointed out.
Yeah, man.
Like really, really great. And then there was another part where like the trolley is starting to come undone from the tracks, and then it like falls over, and then it like slides and like hits another car on the side. And again, we get another very large nuclear-sized explosion.
Yeah. Yet another giant gasoline explosion. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But did you notice, Ben, in that one that like the gasoline explosion was so intense that the fire was like pushing the trolley up into the air, like holding it in the air. It was so
And that was practical. They did like a hydraulic ram. I saw behind the scenes. They fucking threw the trolley up 3 meters in the air. It was great.
Wow, that is crazy. That was really, really cool.
So
it was really cool and
like,
really ridiculous. Yeah, it was.
Dialed
so
that shit up to
ridiculous.
11, man. Like
100%.
I mean, you can't really ever beat the fucking finale boat chase flying doves face off fucking scene in the end, but like it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I don't know,
mean,
like when go.
As cliched as a car chase through San Francisco generally is in movies, which I would like to say it probably is quite cliched.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Sure.
This was right up there with the best of them, I guess.
No doubt.
Right? Well, I mean, it certainly had that Michael Bay signature, on it. And like just nobody quite does things like him,
Yeah.
He's not Martin Scorsese, but he's definitely got his own flavor, man.
I expected Shia LeBoeuf to like,
Come
I don't
running
know,
out.
drop his like
That's it.
loaf of French bread or something because of the car chase. Be like, whoa, bro, what the fuck?
Just ass
Like,
hot spankable spoon.
Right? Spoon B, where are you?
Yeah, no doubt.
And what did he call Constantine? Did he have some little special
John.
cut name for
John.
Constantine? Just John.
John.
So anyway, hats off to the car chase. It was just glorious, man. You know, I don't know what it is about like when that Humvee hit those water bottles, man. I was just wow, this is fucking amazing.
I'm just glad he hadn't found a shaky cam Transformers fucking shooting style yet.
I know, right? And I did love the German guy at the valet stand. You know,
Yeah, this is my Humvee.
This is my Humvee. I don't want any scratches on my Humvee.
Don't want to nick a scratch, nothing.
And then I love how he calls Sean Connery to tell him not to scratch up his Humvee. I'm just borrowing it.
Should be that guy in the hairdresser.
Oh my God, the hairdresser, man.
So dumb.
You just wrecked half the city.
He gets a taste of that angry chief.
Right, and so I guess John Spencer kind of gets the mantle of the ball busting chief in this movie, and
Yeah.
and I love how they're like, you just wrecked half the city, and then they're like, okay, let's get back to work.
Dude, he was such a slimy prick.
dude. You just threw John Spencer over the railing,
Which was
you
great.
escaped from the hotel, you just destroyed half the city, and they're just like, all right, let's get back to work.
Back to
Like
work.
they didn't even say anything about it, dude. And the whole thing where he like, in the midst of all of that crazy bullshit, he calls Claire Forlani and it was just like, why don't we meet in the park? You know, and then they hook up and they just walking around in the city, dude. So fucking dumb.
Sure, I'm your dad.
Yes, did I tell you I'm your father?
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird?
It's like, well, whatever. You're like, went out with my mom to a Led Zeppelin concert. That's romantic. It's like, all right.
Yes.
Oh my God, that line right there was so bad.
Zeppelin.
I am too. Such a good album.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how she got her.
Houses of the Holy. Presents.
What, dude?
It's just Connery going off about how much of a turbo fan he is of Zeppelin. Like, I can hear the dialogue going, Benny.
I can hear it going through Ben's head.
Physical graffiti.
I love it. Ben's choking on his own jokes. Chad's choking on his sickness and dying. It's our greatest show ever.
There may be some actual deaths in this show, not just,
That's right.
hypothetical deaths.
Dude, in another universe, we're doing a 30-minute long Zeppelin thing with Connery.
I just want to
There's
hear
so much there.
Sean Connery name Zeppelin albums with like lots of reverb, like it's like
That's
inner
it.
monologue, you know, like it's Colonel Horace Gentleman writing his list of Hollywood actresses he'd like to smack in the mouth, or you know, toys Colonel Horace Gentleman wished he had when he was a kid.
Along that vein, I picture him in like a record store, like music hall, like thumbing through the records in the bin. Right, and he's
like
reading
licking
them
his
off.
thumb unnecessarily, you know, like
Right.
yes.
and then
Oh, it's
and
a
then
first
thumbing
pressure.
through each one and reading each name as he flips the record forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, but pausing for a moment with each one to like, you know, reminisce and kind
Yeah.
of look up in the air and like just, you know.
Houses of the Holy.
But he would tell
Yeah, right.
stories. He'd be like, I was with this bird named Sheila when that one came out. You know he would totally reminisce. I was on the set of Jardars, listening to this in my trailer. I was in my little mankini, and there was plenty of other birds there, and we were smoking doobies.
Yes,
Listening to
Zeppelin
Zeppelin.
4. I remember this one. Some people think it's called Zoso.
Fucking love how fucking amused Ben is.
So I flipped over the record and put on Moby Dick. There's just so much there.
There is.
Charlotte Rampling and I were listening to Led Zeppelin 4 one night.
I remember this one.
During the Peanut
I was
Insurrection.
dating a bird named Sheila. Holy fuck.
Yeah, good times, man.
Sorry. Wow, that's
Don't be
funny.
sorry.
You haven't had quite a spell like that in a while. Well, in quite a spell.
Had a couple here and there.
Indeed.
Indubitably. Notes? What other notes you got there, bro?
All right, I'll tell you what, dude. I love so right around the time of the wetsuit, now you're gonna get a gun. Now you're gonna get a wetsuit too. When Michael Bean's like, "Have you ever been in combat before?" And he's like, "What do you mean by combat?" And Danny Nucci steps up, right? And I don't know what it is about the way he delivered that line was so ridiculous, man. Hang on 1 second. I just lost my place. But like Danny Nucci steps in and he's like, an incursion underwater to retake an impregnable fortress held by an elite team of Marines in possession of 81 hostages and 15 guided rockets armed with VX poison gas.
In that case, no. I fucking love it.
And he's like, in that case, no. I was like, yeah, good job, Danny.
Yeah, Danny.
Way to go, Danny.
Here's your SAG card, Danny. Good job,
Totally. You're not my dad, Todd.
buddy. I'm like that Great Admiral Todd. Love it, dude. Yeah, that was pretty... I mean, like, I'd like to pretend to
rewatched it
argue with
5
you about the
times.
dialogue, but you rattle that off and there's no arguing it.
There really is,
No.
man. I mean, come on.
Can we diverge into the Marines?
Whatever.
I really enjoyed seeing fucking John McGinley in there as one of the Marines.
I know, right?
He kind
I
of
guess-
had the nerdy dude from Hackers vibe. What was that idiot? It totally looks like that dude.
Wait, what? Who?
Hang on, I'm gonna
Fisher
eject and look it up.
Stevens?
No. Matthew Lillard. He's kind of got like just a sprinkling of Matthew Lillard.
I would say they're both kind of like gawky. You know what I mean? Kind of in that way.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to see him as Matthew Lillard's character in Hackers.
But the problem is that McGinley is such a top-notch
Oh, no
talent.
doubt, dude.
And he can play. Like, I recently watched Office Space, which had McGinley in it.
Yeah,
as one of
dude.
the Bobs, right?
Yeah.
So he's there, and then like in Point
Speaking of
Break,
flair.
he plays an absolutely indomitable ball-busting chief. in
And
Point
Platoon,
Break.
dude, you know?
Platoon, he's kind of like he's a little bit of the kind of goofball, like cut up guy in Platoon.
He is, but it
a little
works.
bit, sort of.
Yeah, he's not a chief, but he's good in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no
That's what he's
doubt.
saying
dude.
there.
As opposed to Matthew Lillard.
Which would be a disaster. Yeah.
One of my big memorables from Platoon, dude, is when McGinley when they tell McGinley he's staying for like a whole nother tour, man, and it's freaking like all the blood just drains out of his face. You know what I mean? It's like it's wicked powerful, man.
No doubt.
You know.
What other notes you got, Kevin Rooney?
I just got a couple, man. I got a bitch, I got a gripe, and then just a sort of a crappy dialogue comment. So,
Sounds like you.
and also a cast member that we missed who we're all a fan of, which is Marshall Teague, who played horrible Jimmy from Roadhouse and a couple of other things that we
Ooh, yeah.
we did, and he's great. And I didn't realize that he was in this movie. He was like uncredited as one of the SEALs. I was like, my God, who isn't in this movie? Literally, who isn't in this movie?
Literally.
So, I'll start with the most mellow. Is Sean Connery goes through the stupid Vulcanvania flaming freaking thing with all
Oh,
the
yeah.
wheels of death, right?
The
then all of a
steam,
sudden
the
the door
steam,
opened and he's like-
whatever the fuck it was.
Right, and then you hear the door open. He's like, "Welcome to the Rock." It's like, dude, that might be the stupidest line in the entire movie.
Pretty
right?
good.
And then, okay, so my other thing too, just was
Gentlemen,
This,
welcome to the Rock.
exactly. So my next one is that
I'm quite a fan of rock music.
the word
Like
"gentleman" is overused in this movie to the point of absolute nausea, man. I feel like every other scene, somebody's like, "Gentlemen,
Gentlemen.
let's get ready.
Gentlemen.
This is it, gentlemen.
Have you ever heard of Led Zeppelin?
Gentlemen, welcome to the Rock." It's just terrible. So I absolutely,
It really
it really is. Like they really, really do overuse that word in the movie. It's so bad.
No doubt.
And then the last thing I got is a very classic gripe of Kev. So I'm watching
Trash
the
cans.
movie. No, not trash cans. You're going to love this, Chad. So I'm watching the movie, and they start like we start going on the whole thing. They're like, okay, Eagles ready to deploy. Send out the choppers.
Day.
All to you and me. Right? So they send out the choppers, and like they're cruising along in the choppers, and Nick Cage is getting all antsy. And they're like, okay, time for lights off, night vision, go. And then they like hover over the water, and like everybody drops in on like little submarine motorcycles and little handheld submarine things, dude. And they go like probably 20 or 30 feet on these little submarines, dude. And there's like this whole high-tech readout of the terrain on the screen of the little sub motorcycle, right? And then they get to the grate or whatever underneath the water, and they jump off of the scooters. And the first thing that I think of is, they're just going to leave all that stuff there? Like, that's like probably a couple $1 million worth of military hardware.
It's so wasteful.
And they're just going to they're going to abandon all the submarine motorcycles.
Love it.
Connie was like, I'll be back for you later.
So that was my gripe, dude. I was like, I can't believe they just left all that stuff there.
The last time I rode a submarine motorcycle.
So that was it. That's all I got. That was my last gripe.
I love it.
Right?
That's the heaviest of gripes.
I mean, just them having to hop on all that shit for like the last like 20 yards or it's like, well, why don't you just drop them off closer?
Well, that's what I mean.
Or
Like, so Benny, like you remember in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, like Jim Carrey made a great
the Criterion
spoof of
Collection
that.
edition of that one.
Well, in fact, that he actually does a great Sean Connery impression in that part of Pet Detective. So he's underneath. He's like at the it's like a dock, right? Like underneath like a structure, and like he's sneaking in. He's sneaking in, and he jumps into this like inflatable little rowboat, and he pulls out one of those little stupid fans, you know, from when we were kids. He puts the fucking thing in the water, dude, and he goes like literally 3 feet, and then he stops and climbs up the ladder. Like that's what this felt like to me. You know what I mean? It was like all the dudes in the control room are like all fucking Bill Paxton, you know? They're like, Eagles are in the air. Deploy Eagle team in water using motorcycle subs, you know? And then it's like they get in, they go fucking 20 feet, dude. And then they're at the grate.
Like signaling underwater, like, whoa, there's a grate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's what that whole thing felt like to me. And if you watch that part of Ace Ventura, he does this funny little Sean Connery impression, dude. It's great.
Lovely party. Pity I wasn't invited.
Ooh, he does. He does.
All right. So bits and bobs.
Oof.
Bits and or bobs.
Bits and or bobs. Go.
The like sob story high ground shower shoot 'em up. That's a pretty good scene where they're taking themselves way too seriously. Michael Biehn gets his.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
They play like the most patriotic music ever while they're shooting each other.
Oh, it's so dumb, dude. And like the whole thing of like the chunk of shit falling off the fucking wall, hitting the ground. It was like, oh, come on, dude. I saw that coming like 8 miles away.
No doubt.
I was like, really, dude? Okay.
I've never seen Ed Harris be so uncompelling.
I know, right?
It's like, I don't know.
Right?
Look what I have to work with. Whatever. I'll do the best I can.
No, you nailed it, man. Exactly right.
These men were U.S. Marines.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he's like channeling Donald Moffat from Variable. This is Knife.
Exactly.
And then Michael Biehn comes in. He's like, General, we spilled some of the same blood on the same mud.
Don't have to do this, sir.
Right? And Hummel's like, I can't even fucking do it, dude. That was just ridiculous, man. And then, like, everybody starts firing, and it's like this total slow-mo fest. And Michael Biehn dies.
And that little kid, the little kid's down with Connery and Goodspeed, and he's like, don't go up there. And he climbs up and just gets shot to shit, hanging upside down.
I was getting you know what's funny, Chad, is that when that part happened, like, I was like, everybody's dying. And then you see Danny Nucci down in the tunnel with Sean Connery and Nick Cage. He's like, the first thing that popped into my head was he was like, he had this look on his face like, cheese and crackers, Jar Ego.
He did.
Everybody's getting shot up there. I gotta go.
I gotta go get shot too.
Exactly.
Oh, cheese and rice. I gotta get out of here.
Oh, that was funny, man. That scene was just that whole shower scene was just rich with all kinds of goodness.
Of Corinthian leather.
Of Corinthian leather as well, yes.
And like just such an unceremonious end for like
a lot of characters.
50% of the cast, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Biehn especially. I was like, oh man, I forgot Michael Biehn was in this. This is great. And then I was like, oh, he's dead. For both
I know, dude. It was like the worst way ever to go out, man, you know?
Yeah.
I was super convinced that the Casey Neistat looking motherfucker who's like the last boss who ends up eating the fucking the string of pearls thing at the end. I was convinced that was the dude from Commando, which was an off-screen death for me.
No, that isn't death.
But he was very Casey Neistat.
I haven't had any deaths except for your actual death, Chad.
Except that I'm actually dying.
Oh, I love that Casey Neistat is part of the
lore of our show.
I know. I do too, man. All right, so wait, what was that death, Chad?
That I thought Casey Neistat was in this movie, but it turns out it wasn't the dude from Commando.
So it was Sergeant Casey Neistat death?
Yeah.
It wasn't Sully.
That's right.
No. You know Casey Neistat's from Groton.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah. I listened to an interview with him, man. It was really good, too.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
The whole string of pearls thing to me was just
stupid,
like
dude.
Ridiculous. Like, this is what the engineers are doing with they're creating this ridiculously fragile matrix of little green balls of VX gas that go into these missiles that, you know, could literally just like shatter and fall apart on launch for no good reason. Like, I don't know.
Makes total sense.
It just like screamed plot device. Yeah.
It did, dude.
McMuffin. McMuffin all the way.
Total McMuffin, bro. And like just the way they were designed, it's like, who would ever put something that deadly in such a fragile container? It's just so stupid, man.
Yeah.
So stupid. It
had been so long that I didn't remember, but I just knew like the minute the premise was shown that like Nick Cage was going to have to do like a sweaty fucking, brow, you know, volleyball dive, like to catch one of them, you know, like, and it played out perfectly.
Sure did.
And then smashed one in Casey Neistat's mouth at the end.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I figured somebody was going to eat one of those things too.
Dude, how about the Nick Cage flare scene? His arms out like fucking JC.
My goodness gracious,
so
man.
Needle sticking out of his heart like the chick from Pulp Fiction.
Let's phone's ringing.
Oh my god, dude! Wow, right?
It took all my energy.
Yeah, thank you for giving it your all, bro, despite your illness.
I don't know what else there is. There's just so much.
There's just so much, though. That's the thing, is that we could go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, like the end is just kind of, you know, it's like you're pretty typical. Like once you get past the part where, you know, they sort of flush them out of the tunnels, you know, it's like it's all pretty generic, you know, like hunting down the rockets and taking out the chips, and then General Hummel's getting pissed and this, that, and the third, you know, and then you got the airstrike coming in.
I already dropped them. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like all this stupid non-tension, dude, you know? It's just...
Like, the movie's over, dude. The movie's over.
The movie's over, bro.
What
Dishes
the hell?
are done, dude. Well, if you want to transition into nuggets, I've got a nugget for you, Kev.
Uh-oh.
I hope that you didn't see this. Did you see who is the jet fighter pilot that fucks up and drops the bomb on Alcatraz?
Oh, no, I did not.
None
Was
other
it
than
Maverick?
Edmond Dantes, Jim Caviezel.
Oh, get out of here, dude. Really?
Yeah, dude.
My
You want to
God,
really get
man.
into the DNA of EBD.
Seriously. Bro, who is not in this movie? That is the question, man.
That is a Kev Nugget if there ever was a Kev Nugget.
Oh, it is a Kev.
The Count of Monte
bro.
Cristo drops the bomb on Alcatraz.
Count of Monte Cristo drops the bomb, man.
We got to do that movie.
We do got to do that movie. I love
should.
that movie.
It's a great
still,
movie.
Dude, it's still sitting in the drive, man. Last
Is
time
it?
I checked. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure. Do we? Anybody have any more bits and bobs?
Any
Or should we
other
just-
nugs?
Well, I got a couple nuggets, man, that caught my eye. That
I got a
liked.
couple of nuggets over here. Go for it.
Are we gonna do nuggets now?
Let
or are
him
we done
loose.
with
Jim
bits and bobs?
Caviezel's already
Yeah?
loose.
All right. I liked. Okay, here's one that I liked. Michael Bay's idea for a sequel, if you can believe that. Like, I couldn't even
Boo.
fathom a sequel. Involves a now
Dude,
married
it's
Goodspeed.
Fucking shameless.
Hold on. Well, hold your
He is
your
actually,
applause,
fair
Ben.
enough.
Now buried Goodspeed in possession of the microfilm evidence, who finds himself pursued by the government and with nowhere else to turn, he's forced to ask Mason for help.
So it's another 48 hours again?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I love it. That would be so terrible.
All right, here's one that I just couldn't believe. Reportedly, Connery accepted the part of Mason after learning that Nick Cage had been cast as Goodspeed.
I mean, I want to believe it.
Like, I want to believe it too, but I would really think it would be the other way around, where Nick Cage was like, oh, he heard Connery was going to be in the movie, and he was like, I'm on board, probably
I'm
like
in.
everybody else,
Son of a bitch.
right? This one was really pretty interesting, man. You know, Michael Biehn has played some sort of military something on many occasions.
In every movie
Colonial
ever made.
Marine. He was in that terrible Navy SEALs movie. Like, you know, this is not untread ground for him, but apparently he grew unsure of himself while acting for the first time against the real SEALs. So there were real SEALs in the group of SEALs that infiltrate the Rock. And he got
I mean, that
very
makes sense.
nervous and unsure of himself during that. And he told Bay that he was freezing up, pretending to be the leader in front of them.
It makes
thought that
total
was really
sense, dude. You'd
Right?
shit yourself a little bit, wouldn't you? Like with the actual
Yeah.
SEALs.
Hmm.
You'd just be like, I'm just some fucking random ass actor, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I totally believe it. I like that. I mean, it makes
Right?
it even more endearing.
Last two are, this is Michael Bay's favorite movie of his own.
Well, I mean,
I know, right?
it's this and 63 other Transformers movies. So, like, yeah, by default, right?
So you really love your own brand.
There you go, Benny.
My
Nice
favorite
one.
movie of all time is my movie.
Yeah. I love my movies. So this one, Benny, you'll love this. All right. So Sean Connery insisted that the producers build a cabin for him on Alcatraz, as he did not want to travel from the mainland to the island
love
every
it.
day. And he got what he asked for. And I
love
love that, dude.
Just put me up a little shack on.
All I need is a record player and all of the Led Zeppelins.
All I need are my Zeppelin albums and a bowl of green M&Ms.
Yep.
So
Some
that's
scotch
it. That's what I got for Nugs.
and a case of Lafroy.
Do you think you could make a mini laser planetarium in my cabin?
A light show. I love it.
All right, deaths. We only got two, and they're both Chad's deaths. So one of them is the Sergeant Casey Neistat death, because Chad thought one of the guys was Casey Neistat. And then the other one is Chad's actual death. He has 103
actually
fever
dead.
tonight, and I insisted that he not do the show, but since
So here we
I
are.
bailed last week, he insisted on powering through it. So hats off to Slab.
There you go.
A
Inside
glorious
Power Band.
death you shall have.
Look, dude, Michael Bay, only other movie Michael Bay's made that was even half good was the original Bad Boys. Like, I'm just looking at his Transformer Fest. Like, he's made more movies than me, but Jesus, they're fucking terrible movies.
Look at the picture of him. He's just like, in his picture on IMDb, he's just like, yeah, I'm fucking awesome.
He looks like a pencil eraser.
Right? Look at him, dude. Armageddon. Oh my God. That is one of the worst
hate that
movies
movie.
ever. I hate that movie so much. I would love to eviscerate it.
It
Transformers:
is really
Rise of the Beasts, The Forever Purge, Quiet Place Part 2.
Island with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, but a lot of this stuff he produced, dude. I want to see the shit that he directed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just gotta go down to the director.
direct hand.
You know what? Shut up.
Yeah, he wrote he's hiding He's like, I've got a secret.
Pearl Harbor,
Oh my
dumb.
God,
Armageddon,
dude.
dumb.
Island was great.
It was
Known for
alright,
Armageddon.
Dude, the Island was solid
Transformers, Revenge
sci-fi,
of the
bro.
Fallen.
Yeah, the island was like
Transformers, Age of
iRobot.
Extinction.
Like at the time, it wet my whistle.
Sorry,
down the
Ben.
rock.
Hold on a second. I can't tell if Ben is trying to say something or if he's just sitting there doing Sean Connery impressions
Both?
because it's making him happy while we're
Porque no los
talking.
dos.
No. Sorry, I was just reading off
Oh.
Michael Bay's known for it.
As Sean
Don't
Connery.
worry about it.
I don't know, dude. I think The Island is pretty solid
Nah.
science fiction, man.
You fired.
Come on. Dude, it's not as bad as fucking Transformers, man.
No, nothing is. Break the tie here. Verdict on the Island, starring Obi-Wan Kenobi. Benny.
It's been too long.
Always the
For what?
diplomat.
I've seen it. I really have not.
Always the
I
diplomat.
really don't remember anything about it. So if that says anything,
All right.
the listeners can decide.
God, this guy directed music videos before all this shit?
Bad at Hell 2.
What the fuck, dude?
Unsurprising.
Sticks. Play that funky music. Vanilla Ice, I Love You. Slaughter,
work, to be
Up
fair.
All Night. Look at this shit. More Sticks. Great White. Young MC. Winger.
Ooh.
Right? She's only 17. 17. I know. I agree with you, Chad. Bad Boys, dumb. Rock, dumb. Armageddon, dumb. Pearl
Like the fact
Harbor,
that Bad
dumb.
Boys is his second best movie, it says everything you need to hear.
Yeah, Bad Boys 2, Transformers. The first one was okay, but the rest suck. Pain and
Yeah,
Gain.
Sam
that was
Witwicky.
actually Pain
Sam
and Gain
Witwicky,
was pretty
man.
damn good, dude.
Which?
Pain and Gain. It had Wahlberg and The Rock.
Hey, goat, say hello to your mother for me.
Wait, I think I saw this movie, or maybe I didn't.
Hey,
Dude,
yo,
I'm so damn blown out. I don't remember shit. Honest with you. Anyway, ratings.
I don't know if I rated this. Let me see. Rock.
That might be a good thing, man.
Might be.
Chad, you could do a non-algorithm rating this week.
No, I did. It's a 5.2.
Dude, how in the fuck could this
Wow.
piece of shit have 2 fucking decimal points, 1 decimal point, you know what I mean, above some of these other movies that are 5s that are easily fucking better than this?
No, you're right. You're definitely right. I'm just
Yeah, I
looking
know
at
I'm
it.
right.
Like a lot of the original like version 1 of the algo is from memory, so I definitely think this would move down.
Wow.
Yeah, like a
Benny,
mid-4 probably.
All right, so Chad, you want to give some sort of like verbal diarrhea to your rating or what?
Well, it's currently, I didn't even look or rate it, and it's currently right
what's
above
it next to?
Demolition Man, which I don't agree with. Demolition Man's a better movie for sure.
I will agree with that.
Which is on top of Sicario and Con Air, which is even more, and Galaxy Quest, which is even
Dude,
more. Of a reason why it needs to
Sicario
move
is
down.
one of the best movies that's come out in the last fucking 10
I'm with you.
years,
I'm with
man.
you.
Come on.
Yeah, I'll bump this one down to like a 4 or 5.
You should bump Sicario up to like a 6, man. Anyway.
There you go.
All right, Benny, you want to go next?
Yeah. Okay, sure. I'm going to go uncharacteristically low for this one and give it a 6.5.
Okay.
It is, after all, entertaining,
Hmm.
despite the fact that it's kind of a POS.
Yeah, I'm going to be slightly more generous and just give it a 7.0 because I could see how like this would be like a great nostalgia movie. Number one. Number two, it was super entertaining. And like as much of a total POS it is, it's like you just gotta love it for what it is. And you gotta love the bayness of it and just the terrible dialogue. It was super entertaining. What can I say? And it had like everybody from like the who's who of the EBD universe in it. That's what I got.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little disappointed that so many amazing players in one
Like,
thing
agreed to
still
do it.
Like yeah, just exactly.
Everybody was like, "Hey, this is a good idea."
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
it was
agreed
probably
to do
more
it.
like, "Wait, you're doing this? Oh yeah. Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll do that too." And then all of a sudden, there's like 50 of them in there, and it's like, "What the hell were we thinking?"
Yeah, it's like everybody was like, "Really? You got all of us? Oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it."
Well, if Tony Todd's doing it, then I'm doing it. Oh, well, if Bokeem Woodbine's doing it, I'm doing it.
Exactly.
John C. McGinley's doing it? Well, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And Connery's doing it. So
Apparently, Connery was like, Nick Cage is doing it. And Nick Cage was like, oh, Connery's doing it. Oh.
God damn it, dude. You fucking sound like a lot like him, man. Holy shit.
Nick Cage was pumped that Claire Forlani was doing it.
Okay, ratings are done. Chad, what are we doing next week? Some kind of twofer?
Well, we're getting into the summer months, so the schedule's going to be a little bit higgledy-piggledy. Next week, we're taking a quick break, so there will not be a show next week. But, yeah, there's going to be a couple of twofers mixed in, and stay tuned. We'll let you know what's next soon.
So there you have it, folks. Summer schedule coming up. We're going to take a little bit of time off and some twofers and, whatever. So
we'll let you know.
Yeah, we're not going to have a show next week, and then the next one's going to be a mystery show, which everybody loves. So stay tuned for that.
That I won't be there for.
And Benny won't be there.
It's a twofer.
Sorry.
Anyway, everybody, thanks for joining us for The Rock, and we'll see you on another time. So long, folks.
See ya.
Ciao.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode. If you'd like to check out the show notes for this week's episode, you can do so in your podcast app of choice or our website, ebd.fm/episodes/214. And if you'd like to check us out on social media, you can do so. We spend all of our time on Instagram at EBD Podcast, so come join in on the fun. And last but not least, folks, thank you so much for listening to the show and supporting us. We really, really appreciate that. If you'd like to support us, you can do so on Patreon by chucking us $1 or $2 if you want. You can also tell your friends and loved ones to check out the show. And you can definitely go and rate us and review us on iTunes and wherever you get your podcast numbleberries. God, can you shut all that fucking racket up? I can't even fucking hear myself talk. Holy shit. And then the other thing is you can... I think I said all the things.
You said all of it.
I'm sorry. Folks, we really appreciate your support. Thanks so much. So thanks for joining us for The Rock, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for our next show, which will be a twofer. Benny's taking the week off. So long for now, folks.
Everybody dies.
Beady, beady, beady.
Higgledy-piggledy.
He has 103 fever tonight, and I insisted that he not do the show, but since I had to bail last week, he insisted on powering through it. So hats off to Slab.
I'm all right. What the lyrics? I'm all right.
And his fist be ever ready for a knockdown blow.
Excuse me. So let's go. Oh, she's my soul. It must be love. She's only 17. Girl, she gives me love like I've never seen. She's only 17. Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me. She's everything I need. Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me.
A British tar in the key of E. You like that? As free as a mountain
bird that Sean Connery was dating when listening to Zeppelin. I think it was Houses of the Holy.